Hey everybody, welcome to another game of War Machine. I'm Lightem'up here. I recorded a battle here between my buddy Proteus and Abby2 and my Stormwall with Darius. And we're going to go see how this one looks. This is, I think, like my 4th or 5th time running Darius in Mark III. And I'm still trying to figure out my list. Actually, in this list you'll see that there's one Centurion and one Defender with Lanyssa. Initially I had 2 Centurions, and I was down 2 points, and since I don't own a Gobber Tinker, I figured it was worth it to lose a Centurion to pick up the ranged game that the Defender can add, along with the threat extension that Lanyssa, being only 3 points, can add. She's pretty sick for just 3 points. It just so happened that my buddy was playing Legion today, so it's even better because of Legion and her bonuses against them. So today we're playing my favorite scenario, Recon. I think that's everyone's favorite scenario, or at least most people's. And I'm doing a fairly standard deployment here. I do think I maybe messed up and put Stormwall on the wrong side of that building. He probably should be in the forest instead of on the side with the building, but we'll see how that goes. Darius put his Fortify spell up on the Centurion, who has Polarity Field up, and then he put Refuge onto the Defender. Arcane Shield, obviously from the Journeyman, went onto Stormwall. Just this first turn here, the Deathstalkers, for the Legion player, took out, I think, 4 of my Sword Knights. So that was my bad. I forgot that they, would just auto kill them, so it didn't even matter. That was my fault. Stuff happens. You'll see we got a little positioning game going on here between Typhon and Stormwall. I actually believe Typhon and Stormwall threaten the exact same distance with the Seraph still in play. So my goal for this game was going to initially be to take the Seraph out first with a bunch of gunshots, preferably, until my opponent realized that he was playing with fuel cache, and there goes down the smoke cloud, and that's going to make it a little more difficult. Probably actually wouldn't have. I probably still should have shot at the Seraph a couple times, but we'll see what happens with that. The guy with no arms and no head is Proteus, because his head just kept falling off, and I don't think he actually brought it with him that day. So Proteus, normally has his 4-inch tentacle reach mouth, I guess, hanging off the front of his base, is just that guy without anything, just north of the zone. So the Ravagore shot and took deviation to block off some terrain, and then back on to my turn. Fairly standard first turn, everything just ran. He did put up Bracer onto Proteus and Excessive Healing up onto Typhon. Typhon put it on himself. This turn with me, I'm actually, because of Abby's Alpha Hunter ability, it requires her to kill an enemy model. So notice I backed Lanyssa up, and then I also ran backwards the Sword Knights to retreat them. Get them out of her threat range, and still give them a place where they can be threatening the zone for whatever he sends in to kill my either objective or my jacks. I move the Centurion over with a Polarity Field up, and he just toes the zone. See a mine marker go down. My old Cygnar focus tokens are going to be my mine markers. So that's where that Cygnar focus token is sitting there on the edge of the bottom part of the zone. After I moved my Centurion, I realized I probably should have moved him to where he could be touching my objective, since I am using the stockpile objective, and that would give me the ability to heal him during the maintenance phase. But I've totally spaced on doing that this turn. Stormwall went, and because of his gunshots being range 14, he was unable to shoot the Seraph and not be in charge range of Typhon. So he went ahead and just shot Typhon a couple times. I think he did a total of 6 points of damage thanks to the excessive healing. And then the Defender shot Typhon also, but rolled really poorly on his gunshot and did no damage thanks to excessive healing. And then Refuge right back to where he had been, hiding behind the objective. This is really going to be a game of positioning. I mean, Lanyissa's in there to extend my threat range a little bit for anything that's on the left side of the board, of my left side of the board, the north side of the board in the video. But there's really nothing at the bottom of the screen that can extend storm walls. threat range, and Stormwall being, really should have had him in the middle of the board so he could bully the board, but hopefully with Polarity Field up on the Centurion, he won't be able to charge into him, and that means he hopefully won't be able to destroy the Centurion this turn. The Seraph right there, I think, did a little little maintenance phase move. I can't remember what that's called. But I think that's what the Seraph just moved for. And then the Naga actually moved up and put its Animus onto the Ravagore. So that's going to give him Spellbreaker or Spell Piercer, whatever it's called. Basically allows him to ignore my Fortify spell that's on the Centurion. So, or sorry, not on the Ravagore, onto Proteus. So that means Proteus is going to be able to hit, I believe, straight dice with the Abby's feet. I'm not sure. It might be dice off 2. I'll have to look into that. But he's going to be able to ignore the +2 armor from my spell, and then one of his weapons will be able to ignore the +2 armor from my shield too. So he's going to be hitting at, I believe, power strength 18 against my armor 21. So I think he's going to be so he's going to be dice off 3. But anyway, you see Abby there. She actually cast Cycle Surgery, so now Typhon is sitting at like -2 hit points total. So all that shooting I did on him last turn did absolutely nothing. Proteus will charge into the objective and do a couple points of damage to it, and then start wailing on my Centurion. I kind of knew that was going to come, and it was just my bad not putting the Centurion base to base with the objective, but stuff happens. He actually is going to end up leaving my Centurion on, I believe, 4 hit points. 3 or 4 hit points. And then the Seraph will come in, and Seraph will destroy the objective, but will not be close enough to actually hit my Centurion, which is good for me. Another good part about for me is that we totally forgot that Proteus's bond gives grievous wounds when he's with Absylonia. So we will completely forget about that. You will see me heal the Centurion in a minute after this turn is over. Apologies. So the Ravagore just shot there. The Ravagore missed the Centurion because of the +4 defense from being engaged, and the deviation did not hit him. So there's now a cloud of acid pooled in front of the Centurion. The Deathstalkers will go and they will actually shoot the Centurion, doing 2 points of damage to bring him down to like 2 hit points, I believe. Actually, yeah, I think he's down to 2 hit points exactly. Typhon's just going to walk up and put up excessive healing and stay in the zone to be annoying. And then his Fury Management's going to go around. And on to my turn 2, or 3. Turn 3. Actually, you end up detonating the mine underneath the Seraph, which is cool. You don't get to detonate mines very often. So the Seraph took a POW 14. I think I did 4 points of damage to him. And that was good. You're going to see me laying out a proxy base, seeing where I could run the Stormwall to. I can't quite run him to engage Typhon. If I could, then I could do jackhammers and just punch Typhon with Stormwall, but unfortunately I needed another inch and a half or so. So I'll be moving that base around, thinking about what exactly do I want to do. My objective this turn is to get 2 of his heavies off the board. If it can be the Seraph and Typhon, that'd be fine. If it can be the Seraph and Proteus, that'd be even better. Although Proteus is sitting with Bracer, I think he's at armor 20 or 22, something like that, because of Unyielding and Bracer. So I think Proteus is going to be a bit of a tough nut to crack, because I don't really have an armor, a damage buff in this list. Alright, so I don't give any additional focus to anyone, and I'm actually going to bring Lanyssa Ryssyl over behind my Sword Knights. Just barely enough room for her to fit behind my Sword Knights and still be within range of Hunter's Mark onto the Seraph. And cast the Hunter's Mark onto the Seraph to allow my Defender to charge into it. After I'm going to move the Centurion into the cloud to take 1 more point of damage. Then I'll get my Halfjack base to base with him so that I can feat. Once again, forgetting that there's grievous wounds on him. If you don't know what's there, it doesn't matter. So the Defender charges into the Seraph, free charge because of Lanysa's Hunter Mark, and does a crap load of damage. buys a second attack and does a bunch more damage, leaving her on, I think, 1, maybe 2 hit points. And then my Sword Knights end up, the ones that can, charge in. I think I get 3 charges into Typhon and 1 charge into the Seraph. So the first charge into Typhon, or the 3 charges into Typhon do a total of, I think, 6 damage, maybe 8 damage, which is nothing. And then the 1 charge into the Seraph ends up killing him. So not quite the effective turn I wanted to have. Typhon being at... Oh, sorry, we're not done yet. My bad. I did get the Seraph gone with those Sword Knights, so that's good. Now Darius is going, and he is jackhammering the Centurion into Typhon. Or, sorry, into Proteus. Really don't like having 2 character jacks in this list. But after all of his... He runs dry off jackhammer, and ends up not being able to take out Typhon. I think he left him on like 12 or 15 boxes, so not even close. With an armor buff and unyielding, Typhon's a pretty tough nut to crack. So Stormwall moved up and took a couple shots into Typhon just to keep peppering Typhon with a couple more shots, and actually moved into charge range of Typhon, which is now outside of charge range of Typhon thanks to the Seraph being gone. See the Naga Nightlurker on top? He frenzied, and because I didn't have any focus on the Centurion couldn't polarity field, so he charged into the Centurion and ends up shadow binding him, actually, which is just kind of funny. And my buddy's thinking about what exactly he needs to get done this turn. He's up 1-0 right now on control points. Right now, so you're measuring to see if the Ravagore will be able to charge into the Centurion. He was able to take out my Cortex last turn. I mean, I only had 1 point left, and that was in the shield arm the time his turn was over last time. That's why I wasn't able to give any focus to him. And not having strangers in this list means if you can't give focus during the control phase, you can't give focus. We determined that the Ravagore will not be able to charge the Centurion because of the wall. He won't be able to get close enough. Thanks to only having a 1-inch reach and Abby's feet being gone. The feet token behind Abby should be removed. Her feet is over. She is going to go ahead and cast Psychosurgery. And I don't know... Oh, she casts... I don't know what the second spell she casts. She casts Psychosurgery and something else. Then Typhon will end up charging into the Defender and doing a buttload of damage onto him. You see the 4th Fury going on there. And then he debates... Leaves me on 2 Fury, and he debates buying another attack. Instead decides to put up excessive healing, which was probably the right call. I mean, I only have 2 more hit points left on the Defender, and he can probably get 2 points of damage somewhere else. Deathstalker there at the top will take out one of my Sword Knights and use that to surf into Lanyssa, which will actually end up killing Lanyssa. 5 to hit and 6 to kill, so that's, or 6 to hit and 6 to kill, something like that. The other one will go up and kill off a couple more Sword Knights, so I think I'm down to 2 or 3 Sword Knights now. And something, I don't know what is going on. Oh, Proteus is activated, and Proteus is buying attacks into the Centurion, who was fully healed thanks to Darius' feat last turn. So he buys a few more attacks, ends up leaving me on, I think, 9 or 10 hit points this time. So Proteus didn't get nearly as much work done this time. And not having the feat means he was hitting that dice off 5, which is a pretty significant amount. And then the Ravagore is actually going to, I believe the Ravagore is going next. Yep, Ravagore is going to walk over and shoot the Defender. And boost a hit and manage to hit the Defender directly, killing him off completely, and do no damage to Typhon. And then we're going to go ahead, and he's doing his Fury Management, move that around, and we're back on to Cygnar turn. So Cygnar turn 4, trying to figure out what exactly I need to get done this turn. I'm going to measure out a few things here. I'm considering throwing Typhon and just dealing with him that way. One benefit of the new throw rules is that they don't deviate, so you can know exactly where someone is going to land. if you they only deviate if you throw it at a target. The target is in range and you miss. So other than that, they will never deviate, which makes it handy for pre-planning where your model is going to end up. So you see I have that proxy base down there for the Stormwall. He's actually going to be able to lollygag into the zone and toss Typhon. So I go ahead and put a second focus on him. I still can't give any focus to the Centurion because my Cortex keeps getting knocked out. One of my mines is, or Halfjacks is going to turn into a mine there at the bottom flag, just in case he sends Abby over to the bottom flag, which, now looking at this, it would be ridiculous. I don't know why he would do that, but I don't know why I did that. Halfjacks at the top went ahead and healed the Centurion and moved out of the way. Plan here was if the Centurion could kill Proteus, then the Sword Knights would be able to charge into the Naga. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. You see Darius is going to go, he's going to shoot the Ravagore, which thanks to the 4-inch AoE will end up killing off the Deathstalker, which is good. And then he's going to buy some jackhammers from the Centurion into Proteus. End up leaving Proteus on 2 hit points after I run myself dry. And then the Junior's going to go up and try to shoot Proteus and end up missing and killing off a Sword Knight instead, which sucks. So instead the Sword Knights had to just attack, and the 2 Sword Knights were able to do the 2 points of damage killing Proteus, but that left the Naga fully healthy. So the Sentinel eventually took him, charged into him, and then we're back on my buddy. So, on to turn 4 for Legion. Typhon goes ahead and he's going to end up frenzying because he had 2 Fury on him, and he rolled, I think he rolled like a 9 or a 10 on his frenzy check. So, obviously Abby couldn't pull that frenzy back, that Fury back, which was good for me. And because he frenzied, he won't be able to get into my opponent's control, and will be out of his control range again next turn unless Abby wants to either stay where she is, which would be fine with me, or move to get Typhon into her control range. But this leaves my buddy with just 1 heavy on the board that can actually do anything, and the Naga. The Strider Deathstalker, though, is not going to be outdone, and is going to go ahead and kill 2 of my Sword Knights again, because that's all they do is just mulch Sword Knights. I think, I don't know what's going on here. We were discussing... he moved his Spell Martyr into range and then cast a spell through his Spell Martyr and killed off a Sword Knight, I believe. I'm not sure what the Spell Martyr was killed for, but either way, Abby was able to reposition onto the north flag to dominate that flag, so she's going to go to 2 control points at the end of this turn. The Ravagore was able to go in and finish off the Centurion finally. So the Centurion died. He would have died a long time ago had he remembered grievous wounds, but stuff happens. Actually, honestly, I think that had he remembered grievous wounds, this game would end up better for me, because I wouldn't have... I think I would have played the Stormwall a little more aggressively. But you never know. Things happen. Last thing he does on this turn is he runs that Forsaken there to get base to base with Stormwall, which is really going to screw me up because Stormwall is now about 2.5 inches away from the Ravagore. So, on to my turn 5. I spend a lot of time thinking about what I can do here. Right now we're measuring to see if I jackhammer or Stormwall, will the Electrolyte bounce into the Forsaken. Unfortunately, the Forsaken is about 4.5 inches away. Now, looking at it from the side and looking at it on this video, I realized all I had to do was move Darius up and smack the Forsaken with Darius's hammer, and I'd have been fine. Instead, I decided to activate the Stormwall first, and I threw Typhon again, which means the Stormwall was now not in range to engage the Ravagore, and not in range to get jackhammered into the Ravagore. So instead, all he did was be able to throw Typhon out of the control range again. Journeyman Warcaster went up and boosted a shot into the Ravagore, did a couple points of damage to him. And then Darius, fearing for his life for some reason, cast Refuge on himself, walks backwards, and then shoots the Ravagore so that he can walk again. And basically runs away from the Ravagore. Jackhammered the Stormwall one time to kill off the Forsaken. And then the Sentinel took a swing on the Naga and did absolutely nothing. And that was about it. I have nothing that I could run to contest his zone, so he's going to go to 3-0. And that'll make it 4-0 at the end of his turn. Typhon this turn did not frenzy, so we're on to his activations. His, I believe, 5th turn or 6th turn. These turns are getting long. Almost to the end though. So he's up 4-0, and he's just running to block stuff from getting into my way. Ends up killing off my Journeyman Warcaster with a Spell Martyr, and then repositioning behind the flag to make sure that he's guaranteed to be nowhere near me. I really have no idea what I could have done at this point. It's just a matter of, can the Stormwall get there, and thanks to the way I positioned everything, Stormwall really isn't going to be able to get anywhere. The Ravagore kills off the Sentinel. He puts 2 small base models that I can't run over, but I could trample over in between him and me, so that I can't run the Stormwall in to contest his flag. Stormwall would have needed to be like speed 7 basically to get into the position to where he needed to be to contest that flag, and it's just not going to happen. So at this point, I was just told my buddy, good game, and I moved over a little bit so that I could kill the Ravagore. I think I'll end up actually charging into the Ravagore, but we just spend a little bit of time here making sure that there is no way that I could contest his flag with anything more than a Storm Pod. He's going to obviously be able to kill a Storm Pod pretty easily, and then control his flag, or dominate his flag again for that 5th control point. So it really didn't matter at this point. I don't concede games, but we played it out, but there's no reason for you guys to have to watch all that. And it's going to be a Legion victory. So thanks for watching, and here comes my afterthought. So I want to thank everyone for watching. I really enjoyed the game. I think my big tactical mistake was putting the Stormwall on the bottom of the board instead of on the top part of the board to my left. That was probably the biggest mistake I made. The second biggest mistake, and probably the one that cost me the game actually, was forgetting to kill off the Forsaken before activating the Stormwall, so that Stormwall could have moved and engaged both of those heavies. Then again, my buddy also kind of messed up since he forgot about Proteus's bond, giving him the Grievous Wounds. So, let me know what you guys think about the video, and I will be back next week. I'm going to be making up a tournament report here soon. I don't know if I'm going to get it out this week because I'm kind of busy the rest of this week, but I will be getting it out. And then I'm going to the Kansas City Masters on this weekend, the September the 24th and 25th, I believe, is the dates. So if anyone's going to be in Kansas City, look for me there at Recruits. And then it's a War Machine Weekend qualifier event, so hope to see you guys there if you're in the Midwest area around Missouri. Hopefully I'll get to meet you. Just come up to me. I'll probably be wearing a Beer Machine t-shirt and playing my Cygnar. Alright, have a good day guys, and I'll see you later.